Hi guys, subscribe today and I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. 3 to 5 Chelsea videos daily. Hi guys, apparently there's an academy exodus going on at Chelsea's academy team. Um, yeah, I mean I woke up this morning and all I'm reading is about this academy player or that guy um, talking about there's no pathway into Chelsea's first team. So you must sell me now. It's not even loan. Just go ahead and sell me. Send me to the next team so I can go ahead and start every game. Guys, I mean this is just crazy. But let's just take it one player at a time. The players in question and in fairness, this issue doesn't apply to all players. But let's just talk about the affected players. So we are talking about Harvey Vale, Tino, Angerin, Levi Colwell, Billy Gilmore, and Armando Broja. So let's go from the bottom to the top. So at the bottom would be Harvey Vale. He's 19 years old. Midfielder. He did make five appearances for Tuchel last season, right after New Year's when Chelsea was really decimated with injuries. So Tuchel brought him in and brought a few of the other kids in to shore up his team. Harvey made five appearances. He did play some games. I got some minutes. Otherwise, Harvey's prior experiences playing for Chelsea's under 23 team. So that's what's called the EPL2. I think it's what it's called. It's basically glorified academy team, but of like older players. If you understand what's happening at Chelsea, any player, as you can see, even by this exodus, any Chelsea player that is good, like if you show that you're good, by the time you're 18, you're 19 years old, you're gone. I mean, gone as in gone on loan, and sometimes gone on a permanent deal like Lamptey at BHA, um, uh, Mento at Southampton, just to mention a few. These are players that literally went from academy straight into a permanent sale deal, right? I mean, we're not talking about Tomari, who in Preston loans played for Chelsea's first team, and before going out to AC Milan or Tammy. That's a different issue. These are players who literally haven't done much yet. They haven't done much. In this case of Harvey Vale, he hasn't even been out on loan. So Harvey Vale's deal is the best deal for someone like Harvey is to go out on loan. All right, he's a midfielder, and the current a crop of players that we have in midfield, just there's really no space for him, and he's still young. He doesn't have experience, so he's gonna have to go out on loan. There's no issue there. The next player would be Tino Angerin. Okay, so he's 20 years old, also midfielder, attacking midfielder. He's been out on he was out on loan last year in Russia. He had played the first half of the season in Russia, got injured, and then played the second half of the season at Huddersfield Town. So he's has roughly about 15 games of loan games under his belt. That's all he has. Again, he's in midfield. I've already talked about Harveyville, so he's pretty much in the same bucket as Harvey. The best deal really for someone like notwithstanding again, these are talented players in their own right. They, in fairness, they all, I mean, they have talent. Um, but the best bet, if the club feels like, listen, I mean, we value you, and just if you can just sit tight, then the best bet is to just go out on loan. Okay. Um, then the next up is a defender, Levi, Colwell. I'm not going to go into detail there. Just find my video on Levi. I did a whole Levi video. I'm going to leave it at the end cards, so you can click that. But in a nutshell, Levi has only had one loan. He's 19 years old. He's only had one loan, and he's played 29 games for Huddersfield Town. His agents are saying, listen, if you bring in just one more defender, we gonna push for a permanent sale. And this is given the fact that we, as even as I'm making this video, we've only brought in Koulibaly, and he's 31. So how you gonna say you're gonna bring, if you bring in one more guy on top of a 31-year-old that we brought in consideration of the fact that Chelsea has lost two experienced offenders, and possibly going to lose a third if Aspilicueta. It's not if, and when, is more like when Aspilicueta leaves. So yeah, that's just a thing that just doesn't make sense. In fairness, there's been some walk back on that position. So I think, and Levi is in camp. So I just think it's a matter of just wait and see. I mean, I feel like Levi is still in camp, unless I've missed something, unless he's on the plane back to London. I have no clue what's going on these days. So that's Levi. Then of course, yeah, again, with regards to Levi, I mean, I could understand Levi's gripe if, let's say, for instance, if Chelsea does go on ahead and bring in Kim Pembe and Kunde, obviously, then that could change. That will change things a bit for Levi. But even at that, again, as I mentioned, Koulibaly is 31, and of course, Thiago, Silva is 38, and Levi is only 19. So I mean, there's a lot of chance for him to go and come back in 2 years time. Everything's just gonna change, and the spaces it will be there. Plus, he needs to be out there playing. So that's Levi. Then number 4 is Billy Gilmore. Gilmore is talented midfielder, plays in the heart of midfield. He's a bit undersized, but don't let that fool you. Billy's heart is something that you just cannot measure. As you can tell, I mean, I love Billy Gilmore. I mean, I see big things coming out from Billy in the near future. However, fortunately, he's had the one loan at Norwich City, which did not work well for him, especially with Norwich going down. And then in addition to Norwich, I believe he played around 11 games for Frank Lampard. So so he, in total, Billy has about 35 senior level games under his belt. Billy is I believe he's just right around 21. He's either 20 or he's about to turn to 21. So he's a player that is he's really at that age where he should be playing. He has to be in a team where he has to be playing every single week. So whether it's on sale, there's no like there's nothing out there where there's teams rushing to buy, to pony up 30 or 40 million for him. So in this deal, the best deal for Billy is just to go out on loan. As a Chelsea fan, I would like to see Billy playing for Chelsea at some point in time, because as I mentioned, I love Billy. I can do a whole video about Billy. So, but I'll push that for later. And then that brings us to the last, and certainly not the least, and that's Armando Broja. Armando Broja is this striker. He's had two loans. He's played 63 games, and he scored a bunch of goals, about 15 or so goals. So yeah, he has all the talent in the world. He's sort of like at a crossroads in terms of age wise. Again, he's going on 21. Um, and the reports today are basically saying that West Ham made an improved bid. If you recall, their last bid was 30 million pounds. I believe they made some kind of improved bid, 30 million plus add-ons. So I don't know what that means, but uh, it appears that Broja's camp is pushing for a permanent sale, whereas Chelsea would rather do a loan deal at best. So that would be the plan, plan B or plan A. Chelsea's plan A is really loan deal. West Ham wants permanent deal, and then there's plan C, which is my own. Again, I've done a video on this whole Broja issue. I'm gonna leave the video in the cards at the end. My own is the plan C, and the plan C is Chelsea only has one striker on the book, and that one striker is Armando Broja. That's the only natural striker that Chelsea has. Werner is not a striker. He likes to play from wide areas of the pitch. Um, Havertz is a player he's really more of a midfielder than a striker. He's like a sort of a hybrid midfield slash attacker. That's what I call hybrid Havertz. He's not a player you can easily define. So he's so notwithstanding that Havertz normally plays as a quote unquote striker. He's not a natural striker that will be happy to mix it up in the middle with a 6'3", 6'4", 6'2", bulky central fenders, and just forcing his way through and whatnot in the brute force that is also called the EPL. That's not what Harvard. Now Harvard has heart. He doesn't mind fighting. He doesn't mind mixing it up. But that's not his game, right? His game is just based on skill. It's based on speed. It's based on his brain. That's his game. Broja is a proto typical forward. He's a prototypical number 9 who also can play the modern way, in that unlike Lukaku, unlike him, Broja is a player that is flexible to vary his movement to accommodate his teammates. So Broja is a player that I mean, quite frankly, this is a no-brainer for me. I don't even see why this is even coming up as an issue. I mean, this should be a deal where, listen, Broja, just show up in camp and preseason, play a few games. If you show up and bang in 1, 2, 3 goals, guess what? You're not going anywhere. It's just that straightforward. And Chelsea, as it stands right now, it's not even being linked with any other strikers. So why is Broja's camp pushing for him to be sold to West Ham? Guys, it doesn't make sense, to me. So anyway, you guys have heard how I feel about this. What's going on with our youth players. Folks are saying, oh, Tuchel is not giving these academy players a chance on one hand, whereas on the other hand, um, Gallagher is in camp. He's doing his thing. Ethan Ampadu is in camp. He's doing his thing and may make their team. Trevor, Chaloba was in camp last season and did his and worked hard, worked his butt off and made the team. That's three players from Chelsea's academy under Tuchel. So I mean, I just feel like some of the articles out there are a little bit sort of not quite providing both sides of the coin. So how do you guys feel? Do you feel that Tuchel is not doing enough to give these young boys a chance? Or do you feel that there's that these young boys are pushing a little bit too prematurely to force their way in? I mean, how do you feel? Please, can you leave your thoughts below in the comment section. Also, like this video, share, and please subscribe as well. Take care and God bless you all.